Hi, Ken from Tanning Bed Repair Guide. How loud is a loudspeaker? If you want to know how much this speaker is going to play, it's not enough to know if it's like, let's say 100 watt or 200 watt or whatever. This is not going to tell you the whole story of how loud it's going to be. You can easily bump into that a 200 watt speaker plays not quite as loud as a 100 watt speaker, because there's a very, very important factor to the speaker that you need to know in order to figure this out. It's called sensitivity. And sensitivity is how efficient it is towards the effect that you're pumping into it, like the amplification, like the power you're putting into the speaker. This sensitivity would tell you how efficiently this power is being turned into acoustical power, like mechanical force of pushing the air. And so if this speaker is not efficient, it will just use a lot of watts and not really produce. So the sensitivity is just as important to able to tell the sound pressure as the watts. So let's take a typical floor standing speaker. It has 90 decibels. Oh, sorry. It would typically be 90 decibels. And to be specific so that we can compare all these different speakers, we have told ourselves that we're doing this with 1 watt of power at and measuring with a microphone at 1 meter distance. So we got the distance and we got how much power we're putting into. Now we're comparing how many decibels of actual acoustical force that we're getting out of it. And so let's take this example here. Let's say that this speaker up here, the 100 watt speaker, had this right here down, this 90 decibel sensitivity. Then if this speaker over here at 200 watt had of 87 dB sensitivity, these two speakers will play exactly at the same level. And the reason is that 3 decibels, which is the difference between the two, is a double in power that it takes to reach that. It takes twice as much energy to give 3 decibels more in sound pressure. So because we have doubled the power here, we will compensate for the lack of sensitivity. So you see how the wattage is not directly in alignment to how loud it's going to be. You'll need the sensitivity. So how do you calculate it for real? How do you calculate it for real? Yeah. So that when you go out to shop for something that needs to have you need something that can play loud. Well, so you need to look at those 2 factors. So let's say that again, you picked it was a 100 watt speaker and had a 90 dB sensitivity. Okay. And we know that the 90 decibels is 1 watt, 1 meter. And we know that this can take 100 watt. Well, and it takes twice as much energy to raise by 3 decibels. So with 2 watt of power, we'll have 93 decibels. It was a double in watts, 3 decibels, you will get more. So at 4 watts, you get 96 decibels. And so forth. 8 watts will give 99. 16 watts will give 102 decibels. 32 will give 105. 64 64 watts will give 108. And so 128, let's just do that one. I know we're over now. It's 111 dB. So we know the 100 watt is going to be somewhere around here. So we can assume that it's going to be like 109 or 110 decibels with 90 dB. But let's say you started out with 96 decibels. Remember, we got to, with 90 dB, like 90 decibels of sensitivity, we got to like 111 dB of actual, what we call SPL, that is the sound pressure level. And so let's change this to, let's say, 96 dB of sensitivity. So at 1 watt, 96 dB, 2, 4, 8, 16 watts, 32 watts, 64, 128. So let's just go through them here. $99, 102, 105, 108, 111, 114, 117 decibels. Look at that. Look at the impact. We have still the same wattage, but we now raised it by raising it the 6 decibels in sensitivity. That is being paid off in the end and put on top. So you see, the wattage, you still need it, you know, to see what is that max sound pressure level, but you have to have the sensitivity as well in order to tell how loud this is going to be. So I hope you got something out of this, and here is Kent from Tanning Bed Repair Guide. Take care, guys.